Shalom, friends. Today's view is a little bit different than it usually is. I'm usually outside, but this is still a view of the world, and it is actually a view of the world that is on my office wall that I look at and meditate and pray as I think about different people in different parts of the world or different areas that need prayer. Yesterday, we began to look at this isolation that we're in, and we are in a period of separation from each other. We're not meeting for corporate worship. We're not able to go to our places of employment as readily as we ordinarily would. Some people are home, some people are at work, and so on. So this period of isolation I brought out from the book of Revelation as John finds himself isolated on the Isle of Patmos in a period of crisis. Here he is on an island called My Killing, separated from the world around him. Everything he has known throughout his life has now passed away. He is the last surviving original apostle and disciple of Yeshua, Jesus. Jerusalem lay in ruins. The Holy Temple lay in ruins. None of what he has known over the course of his life is in place. And if you imagine how that must have felt emotionally, even though he has set his hope on that which is to come, imagine everything you know being laid to waste. But there is hope here. And Revelation chapter 1, as he is praying in the Spirit, as he says, on the day of the Lord, and he's beginning to move into the second heaven and into the third heaven, which is the throne of the Most High. As he's moving in that through meditation, through prayer, he hears a voice that sounds like a shofar coming behind him, a loud voice, a powerful voice coming from behind him. And because of that shofar reference, we have an idea, an idea of the season that this is taking place in. But he has to turn. He is going in this direction, and he has to turn to see who is speaking to him from behind. And when he does, he sees a vision of seven menorahs, or candlesticks, as it says in most translations. But those menorahs are 49 lights. Very significant. 7 times 7, 49 lights, with the Messiah who is in the midst, who is the light. And in that case, he is the 50th light that John is seeing. He is our Jubilee. He is our release. The Jubilee year is a picture of the kingdom restoration, the kingdom renewal, where everything is set right and set back in place. So he sees Messiah in the midst. He's about to have this eschatological vision of the end of time. But Messiah first draws his attention back to the people, back to the bride. Now, when we look at 7 menorahs and 7 congregations, it's often taught that these are church ages that the letters will be sent to in Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3. I disagree with that. We find nothing to indicate that these are ages within church history. Rather, it's a complete view of the body. That 7 is completeness, wholeness. And it's a view of, where each congregation may find itself over the course of its own history and of the course of redemption history. It offers correction, it offers praise, it offers direction. It is pastoral in nature. Revelation is, in essence, not an apocalypse of the end times. It is a revelation of Yeshua the Messiah, who is our bridegroom, who is tending to the bride and preparing us to be in that marriage supper of the Lamb that we read of at the end of the book. But why is he standing in the midst of? He is living that name, Emmanuel. He is demonstrating that name, Emmanuel, God with us, God among us, and God in us. And John sees that, even though he is in the midst of crisis and wondering what is going to happen, what is going on, he sees the Messiah is with his people, just as he has promised. So in the midst of crisis, Messiah is telling John that you need to be about your pastoral business. We need to be about our congregational business, which is not just about meeting in a building. Now, I'll talk about that tomorrow, I believe. But it is about being all of us, and I'll talk about this later in the week, but all of us are now seeing our priestly duty. We are now entering a time of correction where we don't just look to one person or 2 people or 3 people that might be on the, quote, ministry team of a congregation as being the ministers. No, that we are all in a priesthood through Messiah, and we have a duty to be in the midst of the people that we are living with, whether they, quote, are in the congregation or outside the congregation. We have a responsibility to be in the midst of that. Right now we're in a period of isolation and separation, but we have technology to reach out, but we can reach out through giving, we can reach out through phone calls, we can reach out through supply, and so on. So where is this going? Well, when John looks and sees the Messiah, sees that he is still in our midst, that he has not left us nor forsaken us, that he is with us always, even to the end of the age, and we'll see that through the book of Revelation. He sees where his heart needs to be. He sees where his mind needs to be. Yes, we will be there with him in glory, as we see in Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. Beautiful. And when we see in Revelation chapter 20 and 21 and so on, 22. But there's still a need to be about the business of the kingdom of God right where we are now. You have to come up with creative ways to live out and reach out while we collectively move and take responsibility in the area that he has set us and where you might be set, so that we see Messiah in the midst of his people, even right now, even in this time of crisis, even when we're learning how to be a living killing, even when we're isolated and it's my killing, we see how Messiah is leading us, guiding us, with us. Friends, I hope you find some comfort in this. We're going to get through this. We know because we have the end of the book with us, and Messiah has not left us, and he never will. So God bless you. We'll talk to you very soon. Amen.